Now, as I was getting into the groove with the first 7 episodes of this content series, I now bring you an episode that elevates my Patreon channel to new heights. We are going to use a wide set of sources, arguments, and most importantly, a range of digital methods that can demonstrate why the claims possess a brand new view upon the infamous Hellfire Yemen case. It is truly exciting times, and I cannot wait to fold it all out for you, my dear listener. Various matters are backing a claim that might seem radical for some UAP stakeholders. It is namely far from a certain fact that the FLIR video from the Hellfire Yemen UAP case was displaying a tracked UAP being hit by a Hellfire missile, but instead the option of a tracked Hellfire missile being hit by a UAP. The latter might be even more plausible than the one above. At the end of the video, we will also reiterate the speed claims from video A and B. Please read the video description for accessing those. So let us outline the matters in regards to the relevant skepticism that curtails this UAP case. A translatable article from the Danish UFO site Sufoi outlines various disagreements between experienced pilots as well as other experts. This video will approach a great deal of the issues that form those disagreements, and even dig into the matter in a deeper and more substantive way. Read more about those root causes that create the uncertainties and other questionable matters in the Patreon's channel's Guided Conveyment Report. Now let us look upon the thermal signatures. As a vital premise for the Hellfire Yemen case, one has to treat the way FLIR cameras display their heat data upon the adhering interfaces. The range of accessible display modes entails these commonly used modes. And out of those, the Navy's aircrafts are equipped with white hot or its negative black hot. The pilots above had certain disagreements. While taking an offset in the specific subset of display modes, we can exert a minor set of exploratory research. Here are different FLIR recorded video scenarios where the white hot and black hot modes are used. One can tell that Hellfire missiles can travel very different durations before hitting their target. As seen in this video, it is obvious that this missile has traveled for quite some seconds after its final rocket-propelled bursts. Only the missile's front and back are glowing within this white-hot mode output. This indicates that the central part of the missile has reached a state where the steel has cooled off. In this video, we observe 2 other effects within the subset. At this point of the white-hot clip, the totality of the missile is glowing, which indicates that the heat decreasing effect above is yet to occur, meaning that the missile, most likely, has emptied its propelling mechanism. With such a speed that is close to its top velocity, all of its fuselage is therefore glowing with the same white nuance. Next, we are going to look upon zoomed FLIR distortion, which is this very special kind of video deformation. And as an early premise, we have to look upon how a FLIR camera's setup can alter the viewed content. Here is an example of such video distortion from a trusted source. And this kind of recorded deformation may be more pronounced at a zoomed-in state, a zoomed-in level. This might have affected the Hellfire sighting in such an extreme way that the oblong object seemed to fly sideways. So the next question is, which object was actually the Hellfire Missile? Although the data for a Hellfire Missile is not public, there are hints that point towards what might be considered to be its lowest turn radius, which refers to its fastest trajectory change capabilities. As it is adjusting its route after firing, it can, relatively speaking, change trajectory quite fast due to its controllable fins. It is mainly used for slow to medium speed targets. Targets include armor, air defenses, patrol boats, as well as enemy combatants in buildings, open areas, SUVs or caves. However, production expenses and price is always a factor. So unless proven wrong, we can claim that the flight characteristics of the attacking/engaging object from the top left corner of the video do not apply for the characteristics of a Hellfire Missile. Next in line, we have a series of arguments. And here we are going to look upon a Hellfire Missile's limitations in regards to trajectory changes. I will consider the notion that a Hellfire Missile can change its trajectory by more than 16 degrees per second to be doubtful. From above, we have learned that this weapon type can be deployed through various conditional setups. As such, it has a certain angular sideways and up-down engagement range when it comes to trajectory and its moving targets. Approximately, these target speeds have a range with an estimated maximum limit of 300 km per hour, which is the benchmark that lies within the realm of a fast battle helicopter. And as sources hint towards the fact that many aircraft-targeted missiles struggle with turn radii above jet fighters' avoidance angles of 16 degrees per second, the option of having a turn radius that is double the 16 degrees per second limit above seems very unlikely. It can namely be argued that a plus 1400 km per hour Hellfire Missile has an easy job of hitting a 4 to 5 times slower helicopter by using a mere 10 degrees of turning maneuverability. As such, one can reason that a common Hellfire Missile, most likely, is designed with a production reasonable design. Therefore, a Hellfire Missile's turning maneuverability maximum is probably around 20 degrees per second. Here is the last second turn of the attacking object that engages from the top left corner. The turn is measured to be around 36 degrees. This lies within a premise where we do not determine which object is the Hellfire Missile and which is the undetermined one. But given the claim above, where the Hellfire Missile, most likely, has a maximum of 20 degrees per second turning maneuverability, some certainty points towards the engaged object as being the Hellfire Missile. Now we will focus upon a Hellfire Missile's turn radius limitation. The engaging object from the top left corner seems to perform very late adjustments within the last second before impact. The duration from appearance to impact is roughly 2 seconds. And given that the video was recorded in real time, the last turn is executed was performed within 1 second only. In order to prove that the incoming object is a Hellfire Missile, one has to rely on the missile being capable of performing with a turn radius as low as 20 to 30 meters at maximum speed. Given our recent helicopter chase down video and the fact that a Hellfire Missile travels at 445 meters per second, a very low turn radius of 20 to 30 meters seems very unlikely. Next in line, we are looking upon the issue that a small impact area requires extreme precision. In case the incoming and attacking object is hitting within 3 feet, which data claims as highest CEP accuracy, the notion of a missile tip with a 180 millimeters in diameter should be considered as quite a lucky strike. The argument of a lucky strike is backed by its lower accuracy, where the more imprecise hits possess an accuracy between 9 and 24 feet. But regardless of the distribution between high and low accuracy, the video actually seems to show an impact that is 3 times more accurate than the missile's high accuracy of 3 feet. This data fits the overall requirements of the weapon type that mostly is aimed at buildings, trucks and tanks. All objects that possess an impact area larger than 4.5 meters in length, 3 meters in width, and 2.5 meters in height. As such, the low accuracy of 3 to 8 meters will still make the weapon sufficiently efficient in battle scenarios. At this image series, the impact is estimated to be much smaller. In fact, the point of impact seems to be targeted upon a surface that is twice the diameter/width of the attacking object. So, as this impact has a width of roughly 360 millimeters, it is much lower than the 3 feet high accuracy. Therefore, it is still much lower than the 914 millimeters. Next in line is the speed of the targeted tracked object. We will now reiterate the speed claims from video A and B. They state that the tracked object could not have traveled with a speed that was below 200 km per hour. The latter claim demonstrates and points strongly towards that the debunker claim of the targeted/locked object being a balloon or a bird is wrong. The FLIR displayed engager object might also appear wrong dimension-wise. Read more about this challenge in the GC reports. The next argument revolves around the slow sideways speed and speed changes. Judging the dimensions by the camera's zoomed scope, the travel distance from the top left corner and on towards the moment of impact is roughly estimated to be a distance of around 25 to 30 meters. As such, we get a camera observed tangent speed of 12 to 15 meters per second, which is the equivalent to the relatively slow speed of 43 to 54 kilometers per hour. But if the forward/parallel speed is more than 200 kilometers per hour, as argued in the prior section, this speed estimation requires a much more sturdy analysis. The much more important question lies within the minute speed changes that the incoming object performs. If we take the video clip and dissect it, for every 3 frames in the video clip, we can pinpoint the engaging object's position from frame to frame for each 3 frames. This will give us the option of benchmarking a reference distance that then becomes a speed indicator for all of the speed changes. Explore the guided conveyment report to read more about those details. As an additional explanation, I will now lay out how a Hellfire missile can fly sideways through the air. A Hellfire missile will only burn its fuel payload at the start of its trajectory. Thereafter, it steers with its tail-located side fins. One can imagine a scenario where the missile has emptied its burst tank for then to hit a seagull in midair. If an impact with a bird's body damages the fin's steering mechanism, the missile will not be able to re-stabilize afterwards. A final explanation will also use a 3D simulation to explain why the absence of a normal impact-influenced explosion raises more questions than answers. I hope you have enjoyed this episode's content. Please donate to this Patreon's cause.